Hello everyone, so I heard that you are having trouble defeating the Slay The Spire, so maybe you're unable to get to Act 3 or even Act 2, and you just feel like the game just keeps giving you these super tough bosses that you just can't defeat. Well, don't worry about it, because I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna help you destroy these monsters and show them who the real boss is. The champ is interesting because the champ, first of all, he has a very high HP of 420. And his attacks aren't that low, it's like 15 HP. I weakened him right now, but yeah, his attacks can be fairly high. Like, well, it's not necessarily high, but if it's like every turn, it's not great. And also, he has this ability where he's gonna metallicize himself. And what that means is that he's gonna gain a block of 5 every turn. I think you'll see now after the face slap, or maybe next turn. Let's see. Okay, next turn. So you can't quite see this. So at the beginning, he doesn't have the metallicize, so you can just hurt him normally, which is kind of nice. But then he's gonna do this defensive stance up, and he not only gains a block of 20, but he gains a metallicize of 5, which means he's gonna get a block of 5 every single turn. And he does it, I think, 1 or 2 more times depending on how long it takes you to kill him, so then eventually you'll get a metallicize of 10, which I think is quite a bit, because like if you're attacking with some of your default cards or you don't have strength or something, then a lot of your attacks are just gonna be blocked from him. So that's something to keep in mind. So if you know that maybe your attacks aren't that high, then you might want to be focusing on attacks, especially in the beginning, then later on a bit more on defense, so that you can do as much damage at the start as you can. I have a barricade, so I can defend even when he's not hurting me, but yeah, that depends on what kind of deck of cards you're building. And I think the champ is a pretty good candidate for poison if you're playing as the silent, but if you're playing as the character, just keep in mind the fact that his attacks are fairly high, 18, 15, and then he has like this extra high attack, which I think we'll see at some point. I think it's maybe 30 or something like that. I hope we'll see. Let's see. What's next? You've done it now, it says. Yeah, and this is where he just face my wrath, where he increases his strength and he hits you for like a lot. So before he turned to 1 to 3, because I have the instance burner, it was 22 times 3, so that's 66 attacks. That's huge. So that's something that you want to keep in mind, that he's going to do that at some point. And if you don't have this instance burner like me, or rate form, something that makes you intangible, you have to make sure that you can block enough for that, or that you have a high enough HP. So this is especially problematic if maybe you're like vampire and you have bites instead of these regular attacks. So he does a very high damage, 66, and now it's like 34, so he has like 3 types of attacks. The fair low is like 15, 18, which I think is still pretty high for Act 2, then these 30, and then those because of his increased strength, and then as you saw the big one is like 66, which is huge. So I think the champ is really punishing if you have a deck that takes a really long time to become very dangerous. So like if you like need to wait till your demon form gives you a lot of strength or something like that, it can be very dangerous because he can gain more metallicize and he can block better. And also he does, at times he does very high damage, so you want to make sure that you have some defenses or that you're intangible or something like that, so that you can even survive. Like, as you can see, my max HP is 102, which is huge, but if your max HP is only like 80, then 66 damage is a lot if you have only like regular defensive. So keep that in mind. And as always, a good trick when you're fighting these bosses is to memorize what picture belongs to which boss. Like you can see that these crossed swords belong to the champ. So if you're starting the Act 2 and you see that you're going to be fighting the champ, and maybe you don't have high defensive cards and stuff like that, or raid form or something like that, focus on that. Maybe get the barricade card, get the defensive cards, because you can pick these cards on the way, so you can adjust your strategy to make sure that you can beat the champ. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and write me a comment. And if you have a better strategy on how to defeat the champ, write it in the comments as well so we can discuss it and figure out a better way to win in this game. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll tune in for the next episode.